Hey guys, today on JD Cars we're going to be changing the oil on this 2012 BMW 335. So while I am demonstrating this process on a 2012 335 with the N55 engine, this process is going to be applicable to almost any BMW sedan or coupe. So let's get into it. So for this oil change, you will need a ratchet, a 17mm socket to go along with it, an oil filter housing removal socket, a new oil filter of course, and 7 quarts of oil. Today I'll be using my oil of choice, Castrol Edge 0W40. I'll have links to all these products down in the description below. I was able to pick up 3 of these man filters for 20 bucks, which is way better than paying like 12 bucks a piece. I was able to get this oil cap socket for I think $10 or $15. The majority of the cost of course is going to be the oil, but you can easily get this job for under 80 bucks. As I always tell you guys, a lift is by no means necessary to complete this job, but I am going to be using a lift today just to better illustrate the process. Also, just remembered, you're going to want an oil drain pan. I have the type that you can actually seal up and store the contaminated oil in instead of it just being a pan. So that's a dual purpose pan. I'll have a link to that in the description, of course. You'll want a small torque wrench to properly torque down your drain bolt and oil filter. And last but not least, you're going to want some shop towels, as this will get a little bit messy. Alright, so coming underneath the car here towards the front of the car, you'll have this big plastic or felt panel, in my case, underneath the engine of your car. This is called your belly pan. Towards the back of the belly pan there, you can see this little door. This is your engine oil drain door. To open it up, simply grab a flathead or a coin, twist the plastic latch, and if the door gives you any difficulty, just slide your flathead in there and pry it open like so. And we'll now use our 17mm ratchet to break this loose and remove the bolt. I'm gonna get the camera out of the way here. Don't want any oil splashing on it. Also, a quick note to remove your oil fill cap. Removing this will release quite a bit of suction within the engine, and it's going to allow the oil to drain much more freely. While we allow the oil to drain completely, we can come up here with our oil filter wrench, pop it onto our socket right here, and we'll pull off our oil filter. Be sure to have a shop towel or 2 on standby right here. So upon opening your new oil filter here, you'll discover you get a little bag of goodies in addition to your oil filter. Basically, we have 2 gaskets and a new washer. These 2 new gaskets are for our oil filter housing, and this new little crush washer is for our drain bolt. So we'll be pulling this little washer off of our drain bolt and replacing it. And we'll also be replacing these 2 gaskets on the oil filter housing. I'll show you how to do that right now. So of course we can throw away our old dirty oil filter. Definitely will not be needing this anymore. Now, using a very small flathead or a pick tool, we're going to come in and remove this little gasket right here. And we'll do the same with the larger gasket right here. Grab our new smaller gasket. We'll put it onto the end of the oil filter housing right here. And we'll do the same with the larger gasket. Now, when you're putting on the larger gasket, be sure to not put it all the way up against this lip. Put it back into the original groove, like so. As you can see here, I have the gasket in this original little indentation here. I did make the mistake in the past on my previous car of putting this gasket all the way up against this lip here. And if you do that, you will not have a proper seal on your oil filter cap, and you'll have oil everywhere. So just be sure to put this gasket in the correct slot here. And last but not least, we're going to install our new oil filter. The direction and orientation of this doesn't matter. We can just pop it in. You want to hear a little snap there and make sure it's well secured. Before we put that new oil filter back in, I do recommend coming back over to the car here with a shop towel or even a little syringe to suck out this old oil. There's at least a couple tablespoons in there, and that's just going to contaminate our brand new filter. So just take a couple extra minutes to clean that out and your car will be much happier. Now with that old contaminated oil cleaned out, you can install our new filter. And now is when you're gonna want to swap out this special socket from your normal ratchet onto a torque wrench here. If you don't have a torque wrench, it's not the end of the world. You can use your standard ratchet, but I do recommend picking one of these up. They're not very expensive, and you'll know that you're really getting the job done correctly. So I've set this to 18 foot-pounds. We're gonna torque down the oil filter. By this point, your oil should be fully drained. Now we're gonna grab our drain bolt, and we'll wanna pull off this old crush washer. We won't be needing it anymore. Grab the new one included with your oil filter, put it onto the drain bolt, and now we'll reinstall this drain bolt with our 17mm socket. We're also gonna torque this down to 18 foot-pounds. Before we put the new oil in the car, I do wanna make a quick note about the oil. So we need 7 quarts of oil for the BMW, and when ordering this oil online, you can't order individual quarts. The smallest amount you can order in the quart size is half a dozen individual quart bottles, and then you can also get a 5-quart jug. This 5-quart jug is significantly cheaper than these individual 6 quarts of oil. However, if you do purchase this half a dozen individual quarts of oil, depending on how much you drive, you're pretty much set for the year, because you'll already have these additional 4 quarts for your next 2 oil changes, and you'll also be all set on filters if you purchase that 3-pack of filters. So just wanted to make a quick note about that, and we can now dump in our new 7 quarts of oil. Reinstall our oil cap, and we're all set to go. I'll show you here how to reset your service light so your car doesn't think you need an oil change. I'm just gonna press on the ignition power, and we'll go over to the very left of the dash here, press and hold down. And our service menu is gonna come up here. As you can see, I need to replace my brake fluid soon. I'm gonna switch through engine oil, reset possible, so we're gonna press and hold down. It's gonna say reset, so we're gonna then hold down once again. Reset in progress, and reset successful, as you can see there. So now the car is aware that I've changed the oil, and it won't prompt me for an oil change anytime soon. So that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you did, please leave a like below and subscribe for more BMW content. I'll have links to all these products in the description below, of course. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on JD Cars.